I'm always looking for ways to speed up my workflow, but at the same time, make it better. A good, fast product will get you more work, you'll be done faster, you'll have more time for yourself. So when Dehancer emailed me and they asked me if I wanted to try out their plugin for my workflow and my edits, I absolutely said yes, and I am excited to try it. So let's go through Dehancer, having never used it before, and we're gonna see how it can make my color grading better and hopefully make it faster. I'm gonna use standard clips from things I've shot and probably this exact setup here to figure out a way to make everything look better and just kind of learn the plugin. So come along with me and we're gonna see how this thing works. Okay, I'm gonna take you through the process I've been using to color grade clips with Dehancer. I usually use a color space transform and I sandwich stuff and I have extra steps, but we're gonna try and do it in just one node using Dehancer only. So I have a project laid out in my DaVinci window, and this is a project I've been shooting to test out the Blaze Arts and to test Dehancer. So this first clip here is a clip of a friend of mine, Matt, and he's gonna do some running for me because he's a triathlon athlete and he volunteered to get up super early in the morning and come shoot some stuff with me. So right now this is shot in an anamorphic and it is wide and ready to go. There is nothing on this clip whatsoever. So we're gonna go into the color page and we're gonna add a node here and we're gonna add Dehancer to it. As soon as you add Dehancer to it, it never looks great at all. It's just everything's set to whatever they chose to set it to, and I honestly find it never looks that great. So we're gonna go to the bottom of Dehancer and I'm gonna disable all tools. That brings us back to the original color and nothing's changed. So back at the top here, you can choose the camera you used. In this case, it is the Sony FX3. And then you can use what color space you use in the camera. So in this particular case, I use S-Log3, Cinema Gamut, and the ISO was, I believe, 12:8 because it was very dark. It was the morning and the sun was coming up, but it was blue hour. It was before the sun, so it was quite dark. So right away with this off and on, you notice a big change. This would be the same as if you put on the color space transform and got to this stage. Now, right away on the top of Dehancer, you see some exposure changes, temperature changes, tint, defringe, and defringe radius. Now, I don't use defringe or defringe radius, but exposure compensation I will use, but not just yet, because we're gonna go down and we're gonna figure out a film look that we want. Now, I already did this, and there's a whole bunch you can go through. There's over 60 different film emulations, which is fantastic because it gives you a lot of choice into what you want to do and what kind of look you want to achieve, and you can get really creative with this. I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick Kodak Gold 200 because I feel like that'll be good, and you can do push pull. So this is emulating film again to begin with. Most of the stuff is very, very much accurate to what the film changes look like, and this is how you would do it. So I'm just going to keep it here, and this is kind of just eyeballing it. Okay. Before I do anything else, I'm going to skip down. I'm going to go to the print. So you can get two looks out of Dehancer. You can get a look from film, and you can get a look from print. Film is the type of film you would have used that you want to emulate, and then print is the printing process. Now, there's not as many options in print in the profiles. There's linear, which is just kind of leaving it as is, and you can do your own thing. There's Cine on film log. I'm going to enable this. Once you disable these at the bottom, you have to re-enable them all. So it's kind of nice because you can do it step by step. Cine film log, I wouldn't use. That's nothing I love too much. Fuji's nice. It gives you a little more bluish tinge. 2383 is pretty standard when it comes to color grading. So this is the one I use 99% of the time. This is what I would use in DaVinci itself. So it's nothing new to me. And then there's Endura gloss paper, which is I find a little safer, but I'm going to keep it to 2383. Now we see this is super contrasting. We see this is a little bit blown out. Now these are things we can obviously fix, and you can fix them in multiple different ways. What we're going to do first is we're going to go to the film developer. We're going to go down in sequence. And we're going to see if we can fix it without doing anything major. So we're going to enable this, and you can do Dehancer in any way you want. You can do anything any way you want. So don't take anything I say as a hard, fast rule, because you can just have fun with it and see what works for you. Now, this may not be correct either, but this is the way I like to do it. So in Film Developer, I like to take the contrast boost and bring it really, really far down, if not almost all the way to the bottom. This kind of gives me a flat image again to start, but I'll show you in a minute why I do it like this. I'm going to do a little correction with the gamma. This kind of brings my highlights back, keeping an eye on my scopes here, and I'm going to keep it just middle-ish. Color separation,
I'll work later, but you can see right away what it does. And the color boost is similar to saturation. It's different, but I'm going to bring this up pretty high. You can see now my color's coming back and it's feeling that image. So you get the blue, you get this, and we're still a little flat. It's not as contrasty as I would normally like. Contrast boost will bring that back in, but I'm going to keep this down here and I'll show you why in a second. So film contrast, I don't use this as much. I find it gives a little distortion, but I did this earlier and it kind of looked nice. So I brought the impact down a bit, white point brought down a bit, tonal range, color density. So it's not really doing too much, but we're gonna leave it disabled, just so I wanted to show you. Expand is where you set your black point and your white point. So if you keep an eye on your scopes down here, you'll see we're pretty high above the black line. That's because I brought that contrast down, and you can bring this down to back where you want, but we're gonna leave this for a second. Just gonna go down to print, and I'm gonna go to tonal contrast. So up here, I used contrast boost and I brought it all the way down, and then tonal contrast, I really like whatever science or whatever they did behind it. It makes it look so nice. So when I bring up the tonal contrast, I get my blacks back, I get my expansion back, and I find it just gives a nicer look when I combine it with the other one. Target white, I'm going to bring this down a bit because I don't want it to be too blue, all the blue elements, but I want it to be, I don't know, just where I feel like it. Color grading is a lot of visual things and how you feel the moment. And I remember being up at that time and it was probably -2, so it feels cold. I want a little blue, but I also want these oranges here to pop, which we will do in a bit too. Color density is beautiful slider in this app as well. So I bring it down, it kind of goes away, but if I bring it down, just gives the thickest, nicest saturation, and you can pop it all the way you want. So I kind of want this one to be a little oversaturated because it was like that early in the morning and everything was so dark that it should be saturated. And as the sun was coming up, it was really, really nice. Now you have a saturation slider down here, which is exactly what you think it is, a slider. I'm going to do the analog range enabled as well, or analog range limiter as well, just because I like that. And then I can bring the tonal contrast up a little more. So this just gives a little more. Now it's falling apart at the edges, and I think that's because I did a little too extreme with the contrast boost, and I can see it come back in there. Now that's just personal taste, so I might be able to fix it with the gamma correction, and we'll worry about that later. I just still kind of like the look of it because I can see this little noise happening here, but the image looks good. So if I do the contrast boost to normal and I go back to the contrast and make normal, it's not causing issues. So that's something different. But we're going to carry on and we can fix all those things later. So right now is a pretty good look. I'm going to go into the color head. What the color head does is it gives you options to go with yellow and blue. So better turn it on, I guess. This is a cool thing because, like, what if I wanted it to be like a greenish real look, or like the bluish blue you can get? I don't want either of those. I kind of want to push into blue just a little bit, and then you can change the magenta and the green. I want this to be a little magenta, so I want this to go just a little back here. And I actually now don't like this blue, so I can bring this back. Tie in the red. Oh, let's keep it like this. And this is where you can mess with your shadows and different tones. And this is where you can cool down your shadows or warm your shadows. I'm going to warm them up a bit because I still get the blue that I want, but I do want to feel this a lot. Midtones I'm going to bring up a little bit as much as well. So not a huge change, but I can see it and I really like it. Highlights, tone. We're going to embellish these as well. And you can just kind of do what you want, which is the best. And it's more of a game of finding out which sections work with which, and then seeing how they play off each other, and then just experimenting with it, because you can get some really unique things with methods you wouldn't normally use because everything's in one spot, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we get down to the film section. This is where you make it absolutely look like film. So by default, you get the 35mm ISO 250, and when you turn that on, you get a ton of grain. In my opinion, too much grain. You can dial it back, you can dial it in, and this is depending on what you like. Now, as you go up in focal lengths, so like 65, 35, you can go down to 16 and 18. The smaller you get, the bigger and noisier it gets. I personally don't like too much, so I like to keep it at a low ISO, and then I go up to 65. So 65 is my threshold here, and it's just enough. I might keep it here, I might bring it down, but for now I'm gonna leave it at 10 because it's just a good filmic look. My two favorite things in Dehancer are the halation and the bloom, which are the next two. I keep them at Super 35, Super 35 because I like it. And I'm gonna enable both of these, and it's like, just look at that. So if I just go back to halation, and we're gonna look just around his knees here. So I'm gonna zoom in a bit and watch it just give that nice little pop around the edges of everything. It's so nice. You could scale this up, you could scale it back. It doesn't show that well on the screen, but we're gonna keep it like this. And then when we go to bloom, bloom is gonna give you that nice glow as if you had like a diffusion filter, like a Pro Mist or something similar. And it's gonna give you this glow that you can get without having to have a filter on every time. So you don't need to bake it in every single time, but you're gonna get this. This is just at 50%. You can go up crazy, which is too much, or you can bring it down. 50% I think is good as well. And just look at him and the surroundings. So especially with light coming in the back, if you take off the bloom and the halation, all of a sudden you have this amazing, amazing look. And if we turn Dehancer off and on right now, this is where we started, and this is where we got in no time, right? We haven't really been doing this for very long. So we have this really cool look just from using this for a minute. And I'm using one node and one piece of software. So if you're trying to save time, you're trying to do things faster, and still get a really cool look, this is what you're gonna do. Now I still have that extra noise up here, and I would fix it, but I just wanna get through this quickly to show you how this works. The last few things are the film breath, gate weave, film damage, and these are just kind of things that embellish the look of the film. So the film damage will give you those like streaks and little kind of filmic things if there's dust or everything on the lens. And I don't typically do this. I find it's a little too much. I would like for someone who have shot film to shot it super clean. It does happen if you want to use it, by all means. Film breath, I don't use too much because it kind of just alters the image and it alters contrast and colors sometimes. So I find it looks a little off. Gate weave, it just gives you a little shake as if the camera was off a little bit, and I forget the exact science behind it or exact reason why, but I don't love that look either. Overscan is cool if you're looking for an overlay. So in a lot of social media and stuff like that, they use the overlay. It makes it look like film. That's what this is. So you put it on in a way, you get the things on the side, the little teeth marks for where the film reel would go, and you can bring it up, bring it down. You can change this to a whole bunch of different things, which is super cool. And I really like this, but it's just something I wouldn't necessarily use. Like, you could do cool things, like that's cool, but I wouldn't use this as much unless somebody asked for it specifically. And then this has a really good vignette. You don't see it as much in this because it's anamorphic, so the bars are where the vignette's going. You can shape it a little bit too, but I find I always add it, and it just adds just a nice little bit of focus on your subject, right? You get them in there. After that, you can do a LUT. So you can take all this work you did, create a LUT with it, and then save yourselves even more time if you feel like it. I don't think I would do this because I like to do this process. This is kind of the most enjoyable part of the process for me. And then that's it. And you can do this fast or slow. So high quality will be a slow render, and you see you get a little chop on my computer. It might not be on yours, but that's the actual output of the whole thing. So let's just go back and look at it again. So I'm seeing this noise here, but it's kind of the same as the noise I added, so I wouldn't even change it at this point. So I typically go through the whole thing and then go back if I have to fix something. But this just gives me a great look, and then I'll go back to normal fast because I want to see how it looks normally. So what I would do is I would take this, I would copy this. So you can grab a still, or you can do whatever you want. I just hit Command C. Then I'll go to another look. So this is another part of the day. Everything is the same because we shot it within 20 minutes because of sunrise. And then I just legit paste it on there. Now we have the same look. We can go back, we can go forward, go back, go forward. The colors are going to be basically the same. You might need to do a couple exposure changes, just a couple minor changes, because I was changing settings, the sun was changing, but overall you can have the same-ish look. If you go a little further down, I had a spot where I made him do some running. It's a little later on, but again, we just paste it here. And look how fast and easy this is. And this shot's not necessarily the best, but it's just for color. And if I'm turning this off and on, it's a night and day difference. And it's such an easy way to get like a good look and move forward. I did some of these clips before, but it's just great. Like, let me find this one. So he's running here. Let's get rid of all the other stuff I did. And I just paste it. And see, this one's a little too dark. So all I do is I go up to the top section here and I go to exposure and I just bring it up a bit. And I can do the changes that I need to do properly and if I have time, but if I'm in a pinch, I could do all of this right away and be done with it. I just wanted to show that this app is really good for getting really interesting, dynamic, film-looking looks very, very quickly with just one node.
On the topic of doing things quickly and efficiently, they also have an app that you can get for your phone, which gives you basically the exact same controls you get in DaVinci and other apps, but you could do it in the palm of your hand. Now that's great because you can do photos as well. So if you shoot something on your phone or you're an iPhone only shooter, you can get a filmic look without even leaving the phone itself. So here's an image that I took of my buddy Dave while we were shooting not too long ago. And here it is with the Dehancer added to it just on my phone. Gives it a beautiful, nice filmic look. And it's really hard to achieve that just by using a digital camera. And shooting with film is kind of insane these days. So having this plugin for my phone, computer, and having it that easy is something that's going to make my workflow faster and it's going to make my stuff look better and kind of unique. So I'm really happy that Dehancer reached out and they asked me to film this review and go through it myself. They also gave me an affiliate code, a discount code for people like you who want to try it out. I'm going to have a link down below. So feel free to use that link, download it, try it out. And if you do have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments or reach out to me directly. All right. Hope you enjoyed this and hope you do try out Dehancer.